heard from a friend in DC some interesting stuff, which I put in the title about, which is the Trump people being very upset and even the word fired being used. I don't believe they'll really do it, but they're not happy about the habeas corpus, where she's like, huh? Corpus Christi? What?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning. Good morning, Madam Secretary. Secretary Noem, the White House Deputy Chief of Staff recently said that the Trump administration is actively looking at suspending habeas corpus. Last week, you were asked about this, and I want to clarify your position because it's obviously really important to get this right. So, Secretary Noem, what is habeas corpus?
Well, habeas corpus is a constitutional right that the president has to be able to remove people from this country and suspend their right to.
Let me stop you, ma'am. Habeas
right
corpus. Excuse me. That's incorrect.
President
habeas
Lincoln
corpus,
used it.
Excuse me. Habeas corpus is the legal principle that requires that the government provide a public reason for detaining and imprisoning people. If not for that protection, the government could simply arrest people, including American citizens, and hold them indefinitely for no reason. Habeas corpus is the foundational right that separates free societies like America from police states like North Korea.
Yeah, that's in the video of on the Substack today. And for people who don't know, I mean, she was testifying at a Senate hearing, and she was asked point blank by Maggie Hassan, what is habeas corpus? And she said, oh, it's the right of the president to deny, blah, blah. No, that's not what it is. Habeas corpus is enshrined in Article 1 of the Constitution. It's a requirement that anybody who's in America who is detained, who is arrested, the government has to explain why, and they have to do so in a court.
Yep.
And the only time that can be suspended is if Congress agrees. Well, the Trump administration, Stephen Miller, Kristi Noem, Donald Trump, they're thinking about suspending habeas corpus without Congress, which, of course, the courts.
Democracy's over. I mean, literally that moment, democracy is fully over.
And unfortunately, because Trump has already proven that he's willing to ignore the courts, if the courts reject him this time and say, no, you can't suspend habeas corpus, but he does it anyway. I mean, so I feel like we're in uncharted waters. And the fact that Kristi Noem wouldn't know what habeas corpus is when it's her agency, her part of the government that is responsible for deporting undocumented migrants, that is sick.
She's like, what do you mean I don't know what it is? I've been to Corpus Christi. I mean, she just, so, you know, and so, but I wanted to remind people, because I wanted to share this because I got this from somebody who tends to know their stuff in DC, but he cautioned me. I already gave away, it's a he. But, you know, cautioned me and it, you know, it reminds me of what happened with Hegseth. Remember, they're having serious discussions about canning him. And that was, and Trump was saying it too, and it didn't end up happening. So I can't promise anybody, but I can tell you that at least, you know, if the person I talked to is correct, they're having those conversations, because it was sort of a couple things in a week. One, she went in, got dressed down basically by Dan Goldman and Eric Swalwell, two of the best.
Now, let's focus for a second on what the judiciary branch has said about this case. We know the Supreme Court has said 9-0 that, notwithstanding your statements under oath here today, that Mr. Kilmar Abregu Garcia was afforded due process, he was in fact not afforded due process, because then if he were, you would have seen the withholding order that did not permit him to be deported to El Salvador. Now you allege, and I guess the Attorney General alleges, that he's a member of MS-13. That may very well be the case. And if he is, now that is a foreign terrorist organization, certainly the immigration laws would allow him, and in fact require him, to be deported. I certainly would support that. But the problem that we have here is what you allege, what Ms. Green alleges, what the Attorney General alleges, is not the judiciary. You don't get to decide whether or not he is an MS-13 member. And you don't have to take my word for it, because Judge Wilkinson, a Fourth Circuit judge, very conservative, addressed this argument. He said, the government asserts that Abregu Garcia is a terrorist and a member of MS-13. Perhaps, but perhaps not. Regardless, he is still entitled to due process. If the government is confident in its position, it should be assured that position will prevail in proceedings to terminate the withholding of removal order. Will you commit right now to give Mr. Abrego Garcia that process where you can prove your allegation that he is a member of MS-13?
And all she could keep doing is repeating the same robotic talking points to the point of where, I mean, if you're the viewer, people could see that she could not answer their questions. At one point, Goldman was so annoyed by her sort of filibustering, he told her to be quiet.
Is this doctored or is it not doctored?
I am taken quite seriously.
Is it doctored or not doctored?
The importance that the president has given me to do
I understand. Is it doctored or not doctored?
One thing that's important to remember is that every single time a case is built.
Madam Secretary, I have a 7-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 3-year-old. I have a bullshit detector. I'm just asking you, is this doctored or not doctored?
Sir, the protocols in the case built against
Can you
Abrego
answer the
Garcia
question?
Were exactly the same.
Madam Secretary,
I don't have any knowledge as to that photo you're pointing to.
Okay, can you
I
take
don't,
her,
sir.
can you show her the photo? Walk her the photo down there. No, that one. Please take a look at this photo. It was tweeted by the president on April 21. It's been hanging out there for about a month.
So what is your point?
My question is the numbers and the letter MS-13. Could you look at the photo, please? It's right in front of
Are
you.
you saying Abrego Garcia is not a wife beater?
No, ma'am.
That he's not a criminal. He's not a human trafficker. And he's not a member of MS-13.
You vouched for Mr. Garcia when your team said, ma'am, you vouched for him when you said he was mistakenly deported.
Sir,
I didn't vouch for him.
I did not say
in that
he
photo.
should have been deported. Absolutely.
It's so telling
never
that
a
you
mistake
won't look at the photo.
And Swalwell too. We had two of the best there, kind of not letting her get away with that. And then on top of that, in habeas corpus, there was the reality show that leaked that she wants to do.
Daily Mail exclusive, Noem is said to be backing an insane reality TV show where immigrants compete for fast-tracked citizenship. The outlet suggests there's a 35-page program pitch, and Noem is even offering government officials to tally votes for the Made-for-TV contest. The reality show pitch reportedly came from Rob Warsoff, a writer and producer, perhaps best known for his work on Duck Dynasty. Warsoff suggested the show could be called The American, 12 people vying for legal status, showing up on a New York island aboard what they would call the citizenship. One lucky winner would be sworn in on the steps of the U.S. Capitol.
Because, yes, we've reached the Running Man portion or Hunger Games portion of our democracy, where being able to stay in this country legally is now a game show. Instead of compassion for people that are here. It said something about that. I don't know, Samaritan or something in the New Testament, but that much like the Constitution and other things, that's something that Kristi Noem has never read. And so a game show, literally pitting people's humiliations up against each other and their lives, destroy, who gets kicked out of the country. And she pitched this. Now they're denying it, but numerous sources said that she did. So when all of that breaks in a week, when you can't defend yourself or your office and you can't defend Trump, and let's be honest, he embarrasses himself like he did today every day, but he holds other people to different standards than he holds himself to. When they embarrass him, the almighty Lord, he can't. So that's what happened with Hegseth, and Hegseth was like that close to being canned. Well,